What is up, fam? I know you guys are all looking for that next hustle. Well, look no further than New York City's little brother, Newark, New Jersey.
Listen, I'll be the first to admit, my city's having a bit of an identity crisis right now. But don't get it twisted, we're nobody's little brother. Our city attracts both the scrappy underdogs and the heavyweight fighters, all of whom are chasing their own American dreams.
It's just not a good fit.
You're great. You'll find something.
You're just too inexperienced.
Isn't this an entry-level role?
You're actually below entry level. How's that possible?
Even for the lucky ones, it's impossible to bring everyone else up the ladder.
Not many people like you get to be out here.
They're redlining us out of our own city, right in front of our eyes.
They can only attack what we don't defend.
Are you really quoting Art of War to me right now?
It's like David and Goliath. The only way we can stop the giants is by looking them in the eyes. Thanks for the shade.
Am I paying for this?
Forget Silicon Valley. Our city has real talent. And we can build something that actually helps our people.
So wait, you really want to start a company with me?
Yeah. Maybe. That's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. I'm just saying, I thought we were co-founders. You get the co part, right? Like,
Like all the things that I need? Yeah, I got it right here. Not too much, girl, not too much.
Do you have a business plan for this venture?
Yes, we do.
And articles of incorporation?
definitely.
And your pro forma financial projections.
Well, not exactly, but we do have.
No.
Hold on. Get jiggy.
Yukoma, who does this money belong to?
Our first investor.
I feel like I'm on Shark Tank right now.
We took an investment from the crypto kid?
What up?
The crypto kid makes bread. And he believes in us, which is more than we can say about the rest of this city. Look, scared money don't make money.
We don't have the privilege of wanting. We must work. And even then, they'll tell us it was luck.
Come on! Where you going?
Yo, bro, I was wondering if...
Hello? You and your little fantasies.
Two inexperienced founders from Newark with just some lousy proof of concept looking to make it big? The hard truth is that this has less than a 1% chance of ever succeeding.
We like our chances.
So, what do you do? I'm starting a company that's gonna change this city. Is that right? You got the next big unicorn? That's the plan?
Oh, and for the record, it's actually pronounced.
You know what's better than asking for a seat at the table? Building your own table.
Where my 40 acres go, I bet I burned that about an eighth ago. She said you better stay away if you pay below. It's her birthday, she looking for the cake to blow.
That was amazing, right? That was unbelievable. I'm going to introduce myself again. I'm Kunbi Tinuoye, everyone. I'm the founder of UrbanGeekz, a news platform. Today we're going to be chatting to the co-creators and producers of Nork, a sharp dramedy TV series about two 20-somethings who decide to ditch their traditional jobs to start a tech company in their hometown, Newark, New Jersey, where they encounter challenges from shadowy lenders, overbearing parents, condescending investors, and of course, the city of Newark itself. And these are the amazing co-founders. I'm so impressed by their work. And they're going to talk to us a little bit about this and would have a broader conversation as well. So I suppose the first question I want to ask both of you really is just tell us a little bit about Nork, what we've just seen, the proof of concept trailer, and how the idea came about.
So I'm a producer of Nork, and Chisa came to me with his co-founder, Kayla Michelle, and they basically were like, look, we have a company that we think would be great as a television series. Our journey was very eclectic compared to other white-owned tech companies. And when I heard their story of just their untraditional ways of getting money and doing it in a city more known for its criminal history than its like technological innovations, I immediately knew that it deserved to be on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'd say to that, you know, obviously we started a company in a city that most people might not think of as one that has a lot of companies coming out of it. And whenever I came to Dane, you know, I think that a Nork is very equivalent to, you could say, like a Jacksonville, right? Or a Chicago, or a St. Louis, or a Louisville. You know, these cities that are not New York and Silicon Valley, that have a lot of really creative and talented people, but might not always get that acclaim for it, right? And so we felt that, you know, by telling this unique story, we were in a very certain way creating kind of like an everyman story. You know, one that a lot of people can relate to. And, you know, the hope in that as well is that, you know, individuals get to see what we made, and honestly, we get to see more Black founders, right? More Black technologists, and that a lot gets to go from that.
So it's actually based on your story then?
Yeah, it's inspired by Kayla, my co-founder, us building the story and us building the startup in the city of Newark.
Amazing.
Oh, sorry, and our actual company in real life is called PeduL.
Yeah.
So that's the company I'm really co-founder and CEO.
Yeah, and actually I think when I watched that, they actually look like you as well. The actors look like you as well, which is amazing.
Good casting.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So when I watched that, it kind of had sort of awkward Black girl, insecure vibes when I watched that. So what is the unique value proposition? Why is your show unique? What's so different about it?
One thing I want to say to that, you know, Prentice Penny was actually huge for us in creating this. You know, we were able to get on a number of different calls with him. And honestly, for those that don't know, Prentice Penny is the showrunner of Insecure. Okay. Right? And so, you know, he lended his time, gave us his number to really just talk with him, get advice on how we're going to build. Then Jean Ali, who plays Issa's brother on the show Insecure, was also like a great help for us, just in regards. So for the original question.
Right, so we definitely looked at Silicon Valley Insecure as comps, but then we knew that we had this sector that hasn't been tapped yet. It was an untapped sector of showing these black founders in this city where every character is just larger than life, including its environment. When you think of Newark, New Jersey, a lot of people think right across the bay, you see New York City, and that's where a lot of founders go. So we wanted to make sure that we kept it homegrown. A lot of our crew and local vendors and businesses took part in this proof of concept. Absolutely. And we wanted to make sure that we included the community as much as possible.
And I think even just piggybacking off of that, right, we studied different shows like Silicon Valley, which is another show that's on HBO. You know, the thing with Silicon Valley, it is about a bunch of like white and Indian founders like doing their thing in Silicon Valley. And in that show, what's interesting, right, which is not real life, is that show, it seems like they have nothing in the world to worry about but this company. And as anyone that is pursuing anything in their entire life, right, you probably understand, life does not stop just because you choose to pursue your dreams, right? And I think for us, when we were creating the show, we wanted to highlight how so much can take place despite your personal decisions to pursue something, but and how that can really influence, derail, inspire more to take place.
And so, and I know you touched on it, but I'd love to just talk a bit more about that, or at least when I think about, you know, tech startup hubs, I don't think about Newark, New Jersey. I think about Silicon Valley, I think about New York City. Is there a thriving or emerging tech ecosystem in Newark?
You know, what I'd say to that is like what you define as a thriving and emerging. What I'll say is there are a lot of founders in that city. There are a lot of founders. The thing that creates a thriving ecosystem is never about how many founders there are there, right? There are thousands, if not millions, of people in that city pursuing their dreams that are tech companies. But what you need on the other side of that is access to capital and resources pouring into them. You know a very good city from a tech standpoint whenever the dumbest ideas get a chance. You know, and unfortunately, when it gets to cities that are primarily black, you know, it's very rarely that gets to be the case, right? That gets to be the chance. In fact, you get the opposite where only the utmost superb or, you know, the elite, whatever, right? Ones that seem so nonchalant. Of course, it's a no-brainer, good idea. Like, those are the ones that get the opportunity to get like a slice. So, you know, what I'll say is that there are thousands of amazing founders in that city. Unfortunately, a lot of them tend to leave. And, you know, that's not too unique if you say how it is with other cities too, right? Like with a Louisville or I don't know, Indianapolis, which I know of great founders in those cities too, right? But unfortunately, does not foster the access to capital that you know, other cities might.
And your company is still based there, isn't it?
Yeah, we're still based there, happily. We're in the Audible building downtown. If y'all anyone want to come out, you know, we got you.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that I think it's really important. A lot of times in the Black community, we kind of label each other as hustlers, you know? It's like we're always hustling. And like the word founder isn't used that much compared to other demographics.
It's real.
So it's like, a lot of people are like, yeah, I have a side hustle, or I made this, but they don't call themselves a founder. And I think we gotta use that vocabulary more and take homage and really like live up to it. That's important.
Because I'll say this, in most Black cities in general, at least in Newark, right, that's what I know, self-starter culture is second nature, right? Everybody got something going on that they're making money on, right?
A bit like in Lagos.
Absolutely. and so that creates like a prime environment to have like a really amazing founder community and a really amazing like tech ecosystem. Unfortunately, it's not always tapped accordingly, you know?
And it's interesting, I think, because of where we are now, particularly post-pandemic, so many people anywhere moving from Silicon Valley. There's hybrid work. People are working in different locations. It doesn't have to be Silicon Valley or New York. Because a lot of people are leaving from, I mean, those places actually are becoming less attractive tech hubs. So it's great to know that Newark is, you know.
Come through.
Yeah, it's amazing. So anyway, when I watched this trailer, or proof of concept, is it called proof of concept, trailer, I was really blown away, and I'm really like, I mean, I'm so impressed. I know for sure that this is going to get picked up, but I want to know, what is your vision? Obviously, you've made this, and I know that there's also a behind-the-scenes trailer as well. What's your vision? I mean, what's the ideal scenario?
So with this, we got an executive producer who's actually Dennis. He was able to be an EP on this, in Blacks in Tech, put capital into this proof of concept. And the goal is, our agents are right now pitching it. We are in some conversations with some streamers and some big wigs that we can't really talk about, but hopefully within the next year, we'll end up getting either a pilot order or a season order. And if anyone doesn't really know, a pilot order is the first episode of a season of television, and it goes back to the executives, and they decide if they want to order it for a whole season. But maybe we could skip that pilot order and just get picked up for a season, which a lot of streamers like to do. So that is the goal. We're aiming for like the Peacocks and the Netflixes, but we have some people we've been talking to, and in faith, we'll get it picked up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would urge all of you now to take some pictures of these young guys, because this show is going to get picked up. I know that for a fact. I mean, I already know, because it is so good. And there's so much talent. The other thing I want to ask you as well, obviously you filmed it in Newark. What was your production, what was the production behind the scenes? Was it a very diverse production?
Oh my God.
Crew?
So when it came to us, I'm the CEO and founder of production company Pineloft Entertainment, and a big part of our ethos and our mission statement is making sure that the people not only in front of the camera, but also behind the camera look like us, understand what we're going through, and we can all laugh on set. You know, we don't want it to be a hostile environment. We want it to be fun. So we made it a mission to make sure we could get people from the community of Newark and around it in New Jersey who could really help thrive this conversation.
It was really special. And you could tell it was special because you're filming, and I'll tell you this too, there's a lot of shows and movies that are filmed in the city of Newark. There just are, right? From The Joker to, like, Queen Latifah has a show that's based out of there too. People would stop us on the street while we're filming because they're like, I ain't never seen this. We're like, oh, what are you talking about? Like this, whatever y'all doing here, this crew, I ain't never seen nothing like that, all right, you know? And so that's what we knew, and we're like, oh, we got something special going on, right? And part of it was, on one hand, taking a leap of faith and believing in people that haven't always had the opportunity, right? People within our communities that we knew they were capable, right? Whether that's from a costume design perspective or project design or set design, that might not have had the largest opportunities, but we're like, nah, they're really good. You know, looking at the sample size they have, they're really good, and giving them the opportunity, and they did it. They performed.
And we'll be the first, when it does get picked up, to make sure that they're on the studio lot with us. We want to keep it filmed on location in Newark as much as possible, so we're going to look out for them for sure. Yeah, it was, I mean, it's amazing. So I haven't seen, and forgive me if I'm wrong, a story about, you know, young black tech, particularly tech startup founders, you know, on air. You know, I just haven't seen that. What are your thoughts about, you know, the representation of black tech in film and media?
You know, the first thing I think about when you say that is when you say black tech and media, the first thing most people are going to tell you is Wakanda.
Yeah.
And if you have to go to a fictional land
to like with superpowers
to cite like representation, like you know that there is a problem.
Seriously.
Right? And I think right now for us, you know, there's the argument, does art imitate life? Does life imitate art? I think we have a huge opportunity to tell stories that people feel are unique, but are really not that unique, right? When you start looking at our history of black inventors, right? You know, the copyrights that are out by black people, right? Like, black people are really smart, really creative.
Yeah.
And I think there's just such a lack of stories told on that. And so you're not wrong. There are not a lot. I cannot cite one single, someone said it on a panel in here that he said like the blackest person he knows on TV and tech is Batman. Right? He said that on the panel over there. I was listening. And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I was like, you're right. You know? And so I think we have a huge opportunity to create a zeitgeist shift in culture by having shows like this on air and making sure they're as big as possible and, you know, ensuring that they are relatable to real life. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't happen a lot. I think we have a huge opportunity to make it a more regular occurrence. And I think accordingly, people in real life don't feel like they have exactly that viewpoint to look up to. And what you get is the only ones that end up where they can is those that have an intense self-starter culture right within them. And in all actuality, you should not have to have such an intense self-starter mindset to like jump into tech, to jump into technology.
I do want to say that like a lot of shows are based off of previous IP, and I think in order to change this ecosystem of getting TV shows and films made about stuff, we need more books. We need more comic books, things that are other tangible mediums of art that can help influence TV and film. Because a lot of the producers go and try to snatch up the rights to stuff. That's true. But if it's not by black creators and these stories aren't being told in those other mediums, it's hard to have that pipeline to go between each other.
Yes.
And you know what I want to just say, because I want to big you up. Yeah, Chisa.
Appreciate it.
I really do. You know, his company is a VC-backed company, young black guy, VC-backed company. Can we get a clap, please? They've, you know, it's PeduL. They've gone through Google for Startups, got some funding from Google for Startups, and also Techstars as well, Accelerator, which is I would say one of the top 3 accelerators in the US. So there's amazing talent out there, and I'm just so excited that this is actually being shown, you know, on the screen. I really am.
And I feel like, you know, I do wish that even me, right, like even like raising our first million, right, I wish that there had been more examples to be able to, you know, kind of cite off of instead of feeling like you're looking for this invisible rule book, you know what I mean, to really look off of that, so. Yeah.
So you know what's going to happen now, something a bit different. So as they kind of hinted and mentioned, Dennis, who's amazing, is actually involved in this project. So we really want to get Dennis up on the stage to, you know, just kind of have a chat with them and just talk a little bit more about this project. And I think as well, we may be showing the behind the scenes. Is that right? Yeah, so we're going to show the behind the scenes, which is amazing. And you'll see the very kind of multicultural crew. And then Dennis is going to come up and just have a little bit more of a conversation, particularly the Q&A. So yeah, so please give them a round because I'm just so proud of these 2 young guys. I really am.
First location of the day, Dan's directorial debut. Look, he's in his zone. Look at him.
So yeah.
Holding the monitor in his hand, he's ready. Everyone's killing it so far. Fingers crossed, it's gonna be a good day.
came to this project because of Chisa and Kayla. We went to college together, talked about this idea of doing a show back when we were in college. They were still starting the company that the show's about. And then it finally came to life with Dane as a producer. I was attached to write and direct it. And I just felt like I knew Chisa and Kayla so well in real life that coming up with these characters felt like so natural.
So, day 2, we're in Montclair at a wonderful home.
I am an associate producer. We wanted to show Black and brown people starting businesses. We wanted to show us supporting our community.
On set, we had somebody come up to us and say, wow, this is the first time I'm seeing a crew look like yours. And I think that's really important, just when the community sees it.
Hey, I get pushback. Okay, well that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
You ready for your big scene?
Oh, I'm ready.
You're prepping for it?
Yeah, I'm prepping and watching it. This gives me flashbacks.
We need to see more Black famed CEOs on television. A lot of shows are so the same with white men. We not doing that. It's been a long, stressful day. This is it. We're in like the final stretch, so let's make it happen.
Rubbing on that Italian leather and convict jeans on. You ready? Yeah. Yeah. I get it until the sunrise. Doing 90 in a 65. Windows roll down, screaming now. So number one hustler, getting money. Why you wanna count my money? I'm a hustler, don't need man, one of y'all, you see. I see police on that crooked eye, doing 100 on in the state 95. My shorty leaning, last and I do or die. Wishing that I'm what I saw I would, cause we certified. Got a system that'll beat and knock your wall off. Got a pump under my seat to sawed off. Got a bunch of goons, hope to never call off. I'm a sniper sitting on the roof, already saw y'all. Ain't too much, I put a strain on me. That's the reason why I have to put the blame on me. I'd rather have them dollar bills rain on me than to let them haters come and make a name off me. That's why I get it until the sunrise. Doing 90 in a 65. Windows roll down, screaming now. Number one hustler, getting money. Why you wanna count my money? I'm a hustler, don't need man, one of y'all, you see.
Okay. Goodness. So where did Kunbi leave off? No, so one of the things that attracted me to the project was the fact that it was brought up in passing during a webinar. And this gentleman in the front right here, Harain Henry, stand up, Harain. This gentleman mentioned, he was like, yeah, you know, I'm working on this little thing. It's a project about, you know, startup and, you know, some Black kids. And I was like, what? I was like, that might sound good, let's talk about it. And then the next thing you know, he sends me the concept, and I was like, this is dope. I was like, we got to get this on TV. And I was like, where you at? What you need? And it was like, money. I was like, okay, all right. I was like, so what I decided to do personally is invest in this project, because I don't put my money behind things I don't believe in. And after I talked to the team, and I talked to the whole team, they had me on like Zoom, or I can't remember what it was, but it was like everybody crammed into the camera. And the energy, you know, the goodwill, the good heart, and what separates winners and losers for me is the ability to execute. So the fact that not only did they have a good idea, but they had the ability to execute it well, I was like, okay. I was like, I've invested in worse. And I know that this has legs. So I wanted to executive produce, and they graciously allowed me to give them money, which I appreciate. And in fact, we also sponsored as the foundation, the Black Technology Foundation, as a sponsor, because we need to see more representation like this for us. There's not anything like this on TV and in the media. So when I think about Newark, I'm thinking, you know, Silicon Valley was cool, but it didn't have any black people in it. You know, Insecure is cool, but that's not the story of tech. You know, I like the fact that it merges the comedic aspects of running a startup with the drama and stress of running a startup, and it feels real to me as a personal startup founder. You know, I'm still trying to get projects off the ground. I got like 3 side hustles. You know, this resonates with me, and hopefully it resonates with some other folks. And I haven't checked the latest YouTube stats, but how many people are?
Oh, it has like 70,000, 75,000 views on YouTube.
So 75,000 people hitting the trailer up. So it's something that people want to see, and we need everybody's help to help spread the word, because the next step is green light, I don't know, green lighting, is that a word?
Yeah.
Getting it on TV on some station or some media outlet or some streaming service. So where are we in the process? Where's my money?
I mean, we've been meeting with network execs for like heavy over the last 2 weeks, right? Dane and his team over at Pineloft, I just feel like randomly on my calendar all the time. So you got to meet with so-and-so at X streaming service. All right, I'll show up, you know? So, you know, I think what's gonna be really important in this is how do we create a project like this that still ensures that the economics and the control of it remain with the team that have the vision.
Absolutely.
And so that's a lot of what the bartering back and forth is going down to. And that's what's gonna really determine, I mean, like, I can't believe just watching that BTS. I don't know why, I started getting emotional. I was like, goodness gracious, you know? It's like, it's crazy, or it's just so powerful when you get to talk about something, right? We talk to you about something on a call, and then like, it just actually becomes something, right? It's like the process of taking something out of your imagination and making it a real tangible thing is just so beautiful. And in the same way that was such a community effort, because it really was, right? It was, you know, this black-owned restaurant, they're like, I mean, you can shoot out of our place, right? This like dance company is like, yeah, you can use us to use the bathroom out here, you know? And it was, in the same way that was a communal effort to create that, right? It's gonna take a communal effort to still put this and get this to that next level, you know? And so we're looking forward to that, you know, because it is just so beautiful. It's a gorgeous process.
Yeah. So I was brought up here primarily to do Q&A, so I won't pepper you with questions about money. So for the next 10 minutes, what I want to do is see if we can get our mic runner, DJ A-Star, AKA the mic runner, and we'll ask some questions. Awesome. I see one in the front. There we go.
Hi, gentlemen.
Hey.
My name is Obiama, and this is amazing. And I think it's amazing for a couple of different reasons, and I do have a question. But the primary reason has been restated multiple times. There's a phrase that goes, he that controls the media controls the mind. And you're totally right. I don't see black CEOs on TV. I don't know that they exist. Because it has not been visually presented to us. I don't see black tech founders and startups. I'm aware, because I work in tech, that they must exist, that they're somewhere, right? But I don't see them visually presented in front of me. So I'm grateful that you guys are choosing this path, right? Because I really do think it's gonna be the key to unlocking a lot of different opportunities and also shaping the future. So little kids can have something other than our amazing basketball players and athletes to look forward to becoming, right? They can look forward to becoming CEOs and founders. So my question specifically is for you, Dane. With Pineloft, what's the vision? Is this to continue to showcase Black excellence in underserved spaces? Was this a one-off project? Like, what's the goal with Pineloft?
So at Pineloft, our development slate right now has a great amount of projects of untold, unshared stories. That's where we actively go out to, even with rights acquisitions. We try, our team, we're building a Black team. Like, one of my agents is Black, my PR publicist is Black, my lawyer is the top entertainment attorney in the United States, and she's a Black woman. And I think it's important to have that ecosystem around us. So a lot of the projects we have are in this vein of BIPOC stories that deserve to be told. And you talk about like the vision and long term, like I think it's great we have an independent feature film that we're in early pre-production with right now, and it's about $2 million budget, but we're taking that next step into going for that tentpole status, that blockbuster status, because independent film is great, but to really make change, we gotta go for those $50 million films. And to be transparent, like I'm 22 years old, I just graduated from NYU. And right now, we've been in a room with a lot of people that people wait their whole lives to get in. And opportunities are starting to come our way, and we're carefully curating these projects to make sure it sets us up for the long term. Someone we look forward to like working with and collaborating with is Macro and Charles D. King and kind of his ecosystem, and along with Michael B. Jordan's Outlier Society. If you ask me where I want Pineloft to be, it's going to be in that same stratosphere.
And actually, I'm just saying too, you know, yesterday, Dane and I, we were talking about, you know, what number would you sell your company at? You know, Dane said 900 million. I said, that sounds about right. All right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're seeing a really big boom in entertainment companies getting bought by private equity or VCs and that kind of stuff. Like BlackRock is kind of scooping them up.
Primarily because of what you said, that when you control the media, you control the mind.
Exactly, and it's going for absurd amounts of money. And right now, IP is king, and we're gathering up as much IP as possible that we could sell in the long term.
They actually have the IP rights to another company that's here as well that was in the pitch competition. They didn't even know each other were going to be here, but you know, it just tells you about the caliber of talent that there is within the founder ecosystem, within the Black tech ecosystem in general. But Dane is on the front lines of being able to actually translate that into stories and media.
And just a follow-up question to that. So 900 million, what's my ROI on that?
Right. The ROI is on Nork for Pineloft. We haven't had.
He's still twisted now.
Respect.
But later down the line, there are investment opportunities. Down the line, we're gonna have a branch. So there's things we're working on.
No doubt. Any other questions?
Hello, I'm Brittany. First, just a shameless plug. Once you guys get picked up, I am a screenwriter, so.
Oh, wonderful.
Writer's room.
Your writer's room.
Yep.
Just shameless plug. Also, this might also be an inadvertent, like, shameless plug. I work at Apple, but I was just curious, just looking at the content, looking at how diverse the crew is. It seems like it could be a good fit for Apple TV Plus as well. Have you guys thought about that as a streaming, platform for this content?
Yeah, we've thought about it. We've really been waiting when it came to Apple for the appropriate warm intro, honestly. So I'm glad that we have it now. But you know, with the other streaming sites that have reached out, a lot of it was individuals that were, you know, at Disney, right? Individuals that were already at Netflix and FX that were like, hey, we got to talk about this ASAP. So, you know, and we've realized that's kind of been the mechanism, the route, is to ensure that we have that right channel and pipeline to be able to have conversations that are as fruitful as possible and give us that leverage to be able to argue for the best rights that are equitable for both sides. So I'd be definitely happy to talk about it, right? We're definitely not against that at all.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Hi, I'm Jessica. And I know this is based very closely on your life. So when this gets picked up, how do you see this series developing over time?
Mm-hmm. I think that on our side, we see this series gaining a life of its own, right? So like taking the foundations of what it took. You know, for us, during our startup journey, every time something bad happened, and it could be monumentally terrible, we would just like console each other by saying, it's gonna be great for the show one day. You know, it could be the worst case scenario. Someone pulls out like $250K and they like take out, you know, don't give it like they promised, and we'd say it's great for the show. So, you know, I genuinely feel as, although I love our story and it's so unique, I think that this show is so much bigger than us, and I say that in the greatest of ways, right? I think I'm great. Don't get me wrong. I got an ego a little bit, right? But this show is so much bigger than us, right? And I think it's here to speak for founders throughout the, whether in the U.S., but I hope that I can speak to founders internationally, right? And there is so much talent out there that is unfortunately uninspired, unfortunately unutilized, and I do hope that this can start speaking to their stories as well. And so I pray that this is the start of a much deeper universe, right? And I hope, and I'm grateful for the day that it surpasses past our story and the writer's room gets to get that much more creative to come up with things that are gonna reach that much further. So in no ways do I simply want this to be a legacy of our own, right? I pray that it can become a legacy of anyone that is aspiring to do anything, and that this can spark individuals to follow their dreams in all facets. Because when we talk about the irregularities of what Black aspiration is, I'm very excited for us to go and do whatever it is our imaginations can seek at its highest level. So I pray it goes a lot further than PeduL. I know PeduL can go really big, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? In that same conversation, I said 10 billion.
Yeah, I say not 100 mil. He looks at me and goes, oh, I'm doing 10 bill. And I'm just like, what?
But seriously, I really pray that this universe and ecosystem goes a lot further than just that. And I think it has the potential to. Thank you for your question.
Hey guys. Hello. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm curious to hear a little bit about the content creation aspect. It is a unique story, right? But also, it's television, and there's tropes for a reason. So I'm curious to hear a little bit about the tension between keeping it genuine to your life story and telling a story, and how you all navigated that.
So when you have a writer's room, the point of a writer's room to have multiple perspectives but end up at the same goal, right? And I think a big part of when we were crafting this proof of concept, even in our writer's room, we were talking about like, okay, what do we have to follow we have to follow the same structures of popular shows because they're popular for a reason. And yes, it's inspired by PeduL, but obviously we're gonna put fictional elements in there. With PeduL, we're gangbangers trying to invest in their company. I plead the fifth, but like it makes good television too. So it's like we really wanna make sure we are adding those fictionalized elements that are interesting and entertaining, but staying the core and the nucleus is PeduL's story. So we are more than happy to follow certain tropes, but we don't want to follow the tropes of like Black trauma on screen. Like that's not important, if it's stress and he's Black, a character, but he's stressed out, that's fine, but like we can't focus in on those negatives because we've seen it all too often.
When we devised the writer's room as well, I remember on the first day, something we said, by all means, no matter what, we want to make sure we're making great TV. And so I think it's our duty to our audience that we're not allowing any type of reality to hold back from our imaginations. And so we're gonna let the show develop into its own and take its own legs and journeys. And like I said before, I know that our story gets to be the foundational piece that, the soil that it grows within. But, we want this seed to turn into a really strong tree, and so we're gonna let it grow into that.
We got time for one more question.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming up on stage. Someone said earlier that innovation in film comes from like books, which is true. So how do you plan on looking for kind of inspiration? Because there's a lot of creativity. We have a lot of people who can draw, who can, screenwrite, and so on and so forth. So how do you plan on looking for that creativity in our community? Because we have unspoken voices and we have great artists that you could possibly find. Do you have like a process for that yet, or?
So I know I can speak for my production company. My producing partner and I, he's Joel Poku, a Ghanaian man. We go out together to film festivals and we make it our priority to find people that look like us while they're there and just get conversations started with them. We'll bring you to dinner, we'll bring you to lunch, we'll get cocktails, we'll treat you right just so you feel like you're seen, and then we'll see your work, because we want to work with people who we can work with. You know, it's not always about the final product or the art. It's more like, are you a genuine person, and do you have lofty goals? So we try to go out to as many things as possible. I'm not in the tech space, but I'm here. And you know, I've met so many great people here, and I'm just like, wow, this is why I come, because there's a screenwriter in here, you know, and there's people who came up to me and said, oh, like I was a PA on something, but I'm looking to become a UPM, a unit production manager, and there's these different ecosystems here. So I'm just trying to outreach as much as possible and network as much as possible, and then bring them in, and then also just lower the barrier of entry for people that look like me, because I know what it's like. I'm lucky enough where I can get in the room, but a lot of people can't. So I'm gonna bring people with me. And if I gotta drag you in there, we're gonna do it, and you'll get better as we keep doing it.
All right, give it up for the Newark team. All right, we're done. So what I want to do, I'm just going to let everybody know, we have the wrap-up closing session today at 5 o'clock in 10 minutes. Take a bio break, come back. There's going to be bringing in desserts, I think, and some other stuff. So come back and help us close out strong. But thank you for your time. It's been a great 2 days.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
I'm the f***ing man, y'all don't get it, do you? I'm the f***ing man, y'all don't get it, do you? Type of money,